Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Hi, I'm Sam from Adventures in Crafting. I'm a craft and crochet teacher based in Tring in Hertfordshire. Since lockdown, I've moved all of my classes onto Zoom, so I now have customers from all over the country. I teach lots of crafts, but crochet is my specialism. I became passionate about crochet when I was pregnant with my fourth child and in desperate need of some me time. Crochet became my sanctuary and I've crocheted every day since then. I'm a qualified teacher and 8 years ago I began teaching crochet. I love sharing my passion with other people. I design patterns, sell kits and teach lots of classes. My classes range from beginners to next steps, specific makes and clubs. I also like to design crochet alongs. My most recent one was my autumn granny square crochet along, which resulted in me designing this allotment jumper, which I love to wear when I'm out gardening and looking after my chickens. My crochet tip for you is to enjoy it. Crochet should be about taking part in a hobby that brings you pleasure. My claim to fame is that I met Kirsty Allsop at the Handmade Fair and I gave her one of my crochet sunflower brooches. I'm so excited to be taking part in Yarn Lane and I hope you'll enjoy my demonstrations.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Follow Sewing Street and Yarn Lane on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with what's coming up on the show, as well as being the first to know about our amazing offers. Get involved with our competitions that are exclusive to social media. And pick up some top tips from us too. In need of a crafting fix? There are so many ways you can watch Sewing Street and Yarn Lane. Sewing Street is live from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every day on Freeview 72 and Sky 670. Alternatively, if you want to watch us on a tablet or on the move, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, the Sewing Street app, or the websites at www.sewingstreet.com and www.yarnlane.com. You can watch past shows on Sky 670 from 1 p.m. every day, as well as our YouTube channel, the app, and our website. Yarn Lane is on from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Visit our programme guide to find out when and what's on. So you never have to spend a minute without us.
We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Have you heard about all of the different ways you can shop with Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? You can either shop on our websites, sewingstreet.com and yarnlane.com. You can also order by phone by calling our friendly UK customer service team. For Sewing Street, call 0800 001 4433 and for Yarn Lane, call 0800 4700 600. And don't forget about the Sewing Street app. Here you can shop all of the Sewing Street products as well as watch the live shows from anywhere. You can download the app onto your smartphone or your tablet by simply searching Sewing Street in your app store. And one final thing, no matter how many times you check out on Sewing Street or Yarn Lane in one day, you will only pay one postage and packaging. Happy shopping!
Hello there, my yarn-loving friends. Look, I'm finally in a Sam Sabido creation, and I tell you what, I couldn't feel more special. Welcome to Yarn Lane, everybody, yarn lovers out there across the nation. We've got the most fantastic hour coming up with one of our favourite, most cherished Yarn Lane guests, Sam Sabido, who has brought back some of her most popular Christmas items. And this is the most exciting part. We have got two brand new Sam Sabido creations and kits on the show today, so keep watching for those. Now, let's just talk about shopping with us today. Here's how to do it. Go to the website, www.yarnlane.com. Click on Watch Live. There we are, looking resplendent in my snowflakes. You can send us a message, and please, please do. Otherwise, Sam will just have to talk to me. And then scroll down and you can see all of the projects on the show. Brand new projects from Sam and also some all-important back-in stocks. Might just be modelling one of those. Wonderful new project. Look at that elf. Now, if you've already shopped with Sewing Street today, your P&P is already paid. If you've just joined us, $3.95, one postage, and that's it for the rest of the day until midnight. You can shop right across our website and Sewing Street as well. Now, if you prefer to call the call centre and speak to a live human being, you can. It's 0800 4700 600, and it's a completely free number. It's a UK-based call centre, really helpful. We even had a message from somebody earlier on today to say that she'd called the call centre and they'd been really helpful. I'm feeling wonderful in my Christmas sweater. This feels really classy. Now let's have a look first of all at Sam Sabido's two newest projects. Let's start with the elf. Oh my goodness me. Hello. Hello. Oh, instantly jaunty angle, you see. Instantly a jaunty angle. He is something special, isn't he? All crocheted. Absolutely adorable. And I'm reliably informed all these clothes come off.
They do.
We won't do it right now because we're not past the watershed, but and you know what, the amazing thing about Sam's kits is you're getting everything from the bell to the yarn to the stuffing to the little eyes, absolutely everything to recreate. I've got to show you his hair though. I mean, look at that, just a few little kiss curls dangling at the front. He is really cute in that gorgeous traditional red and green outfit. Just beautiful. You're getting the whole kit from Sam in this very special and very keepable calico bag, printed on the front. It's absolutely super. This is your project bag as well, isn't it? To take with you wherever you go when you're working on the elf. Sam was telling me that she's called this Elfie. Elfie, now that we're friends, I've decided to make you my new project. Well, this is your new project. I mean, talk about cute for Christmas. Adventures in Crafting, Elfie the Elf crochet kit. If you're already a crocheter, I know you're going to love this design. If you've never crocheted before, I know you're going to love this design. What a reason to learn to crochet or to improve your crochet. If you haven't made something like Elfie before, this is a great opportunity, isn't it? Talk about a project to motivate you. Inside your kit, you're getting absolutely everything. You're getting all your yarn. You're getting a gorgeous little bag of stuffing. Lovely bags too.
Very sweet.
All really real good quality. You're getting your fab instructions. I know they're fab instructions, and they're really detailed too. This is a hand to hold all the way through, all the instructions, nicely mapped out. That's extensive. Wow. That's what you need, though, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, every step of the way. And of course, as well, when you're knitting a project like a doll or a toy, you've got loads of different elements. So if you're someone that really does not want to be doing a gazillion double crochets back and forth to create a huge blanket, you've got loads of different elements there that are going to keep you interested and motivated throughout. That's Brill. Absolutely Brill.
you.
He's adorable. He is absolutely adorable. Now that is £19.99 for the entire kit. The wonderful bag as well, the instructions. That's superb. Now our other brand new today from Sam Sabido is the advent calendar, which I've got right here in front of me now, and we've got hanging up. This is really special. That is really special. 24 little pockets to put something gorgeous in each one. I'm thinking a diamond ring in 24.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Are they little numbered stars as
They
well?
are, yeah.
Do I get those in
You
the
get
kit?
the stars, which you can number yourself, yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
fantastic. Sam, you're spoiling us now. Look at this. You even get the pole, you even get the stick, because who wants to try and find that when you've done all the lovely crochet? This is an ideal time, isn't it, to start working on your Christmas projects, because by the time we get to December the 1st, your whole advent calendar is going to be made, ready to hang. You've already got the pole, and in your kit you're getting all of the yarns that you need. There's a bag of stars. I mean, come on, Sam. You're really spoiled. You get a bag of stars with this one. They're gorgeous. You just need to add your own hook.
Yes, all you need
just
is
add a hook.
Yeah.
But you're getting all those colours pre-selected. So, and what I love about Sam's kits is that the colours are rich, they're beautiful, but they're also classy and subtle. So I like non-screamy Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Very tasteful.
Tasteful,
Yeah.
subtle. Still full on Christmas.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking. This is for Christmas. It's an advent calendar, but it's not shouty. The snowmen are pretty cute.
They are cute.
Oh, Sam, I can't wait to meet you properly on air. I'm going to pull that up. So that's our advent, £24.99. That's amazing. That's amazing value. It's a terrific project there. Something to work on in the autumn and winter evenings on the run up to Christmas. Get you in the mood. Loads of those are going into baskets. Loads are going into baskets. And Elfie is hopping into baskets as well at quite a rate of knots too. We know you love Sam Sabido's designs. If you want her brand new designs, do make sure you check out, because these are going to sell out. Susan's asked if we can see the yarn that we get in the kit. Let me show you the yarn that you're getting in the advent calendar kit. In fact, I'm going to get the whole contents out so you can see. So we're getting a couple of balls of this lovely light green. We're also getting some dark, like a forest green. The rose pink is lovely. That's a great addition.
Yeah.
That is smashing. A cranberry red, a silver, a white. Oh, okay. Now, I wasn't expecting that, but it's backed.
Do you want me to turn it around?
Wow, yes, please. There's Sam from the back. Look at that. Look at that. You've had your hair done. What did you get done?
I got my highlights and I treated myself. My husband
Beautiful.
normally cuts it, so.
Oh.
Went to a
Is your
hairdresser this
husband a
time. No,
hairdresser?
he's not.
Oh, okay.
But this was a
Trusting.
hairdresser, not him.
Have you been married for a
Hence
long
the
time?
improvement. We have, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So you know exactly what you... Gosh, that's the kind of thing that a
trusting, isn't
divorce
it?
is made of, isn't it? Will you cut my hair, please, darling? Good gracious.
There we
Yes, that
go.
was one line that Charlie and I did not cross during lockdown. We just embraced the curls. His, not mine. But you're getting that natural craft fabric included. I wasn't expecting that. The stick, of course, a bag full of stars. I don't think any other designer who comes on Yarn Lane gives us a bag of stars. More yarn then. And then those wonderful instructions. So add a hook, you're done. All of that for £24.99. And a big project bag as well.
Yes.
Sam, how do you do it?
I
Don't
like to
ruin the
provide it all.
magic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And such a great way of buying this because everything is sourced for you. All you have to do is sit down and enjoy the sheer delight, the sheer pleasure of working through Sam's amazing pattern for her advent calendar. It's 24 little pockets of joy to lead you up to the big day at Christmas. And it's an heirloom, isn't it? It's something you're going to bring out every single year and decorate. I've never seen, actually, I've got to say, I've never seen a crocheted advent calendar before. Lots of fabric ones.
Yeah, no, I haven't either. And my mother-in-law made all the children fabric ones, which is what inspired the idea when they were very little. So I thought it'd be lovely to have a crochet one for those that crochet so that they can put it away and get it out every year.
Absolutely.
Bit of an heirloom.
And also, each pocket is small and achievable, isn't it?
Yes.
How long, if you know what you're doing, how long to make each one? Each pocket?
Each little pocket, probably 20 minutes, half an hour at most, including the motif.
So an evening?
Yeah, so you could, for someone who's experienced, this is not a long make. It's,
No.
And if you're new to crochet, it's also achievable because it's mainly double crochets.
Double crochet is easy, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I can do double crochet.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just trying to impress you now, Sam.
Very impressed.
Trying to please the teacher. And of course, I'm not just wearing this fabulous sweater for no reason, because I'm feeling chilly in the studio. All three colours in Sam's amazing snowflake sweater are back in stock. I'm wearing Snowstorm, because that's kind of me. The design's called Frost.
Yes.
Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful. This is Snowstorm. I'm in Snowstorm. It's gorgeous, it's lovely, and it's crocheted in hexagons, isn't it?
Yes, they're all hexagons, yeah.
Which appeals to me on many levels. Behind me, this was launched on the 26th of July, by the way, if you want to see a full demo. Then on the mannequin behind me, we've got back in stock. That's the grey, but this is sold out completely already. Is this actually sold out? Oh, we have it. Ah, okay, great. Sorry. So, correction. We have that back in stock. And it's called Crystal because it's actually got sparkly yarn in there as well. These are classy Christmas sweaters, aren't they?
Aren't they? They're winter wear, really, aren't they?
They are. You could wear this right throughout December, January,
yeah.
February. Frankly, I'd wear this to the beach in August. It's gorgeous.
Cover up.
And also lovely because you're just working one hexagon at a time.
Yeah, so you can just, you're not lugging around a massive sweater to work on. You can work your little pile of hexagons and then assemble it. So.
It's an on-the-go project.
It is,
it's
yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah.
And then Sam is wearing what I've no doubt will be the most popular option, which is the red, because it's gorge. Look at that, beautiful. And it's a lovely kind of deep cranberry red. Gorgeous. Now, different collars, different cuffs, is that right?
That's all the instructions are included for changing the neckline, the cuffs.
Oh.
So the silver one, so I have friends that make the samples for me. So Terry Ann made the silver one behind you.
Got you.
And she's put white into the lining as well, into the cuffs and the neckline. So all those instructions to adjust it as you go along are included in the pattern.
So if we go for the red option, we could still do the two-colour collar.
Yes, absolutely.
We can change it. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Extra value.
Yeah.
Fab. And multi-size or one size fits most?
Multi-size. I think I did it from an extra small up to a 5XL. So
amazing.
All sizes. Yeah.
Sam, you're spoiling us now. Now, you've got some lovely demos for us. We've got some back in stocks, but have a look on the website. Let's just dive in. Where are we going to start? Who are we going to start with?
Well, I thought, shall we start with Elfie?
Yes, please.
And I'll do a little amigurumi tutorial. So Elfie is made using the amigurumi crochet technique, which is the same as normal crochet, but it's a Japanese technique for shaping crochet work. So you're using a double crochet. So if you're used to crocheting and you've worked with double crochets before, there's no new stitches, but it's just a different way of working, which I'll explain as we go along.
Okay.
Because amigurumi is a technique that's used for anything three-dimensional. So it's really popular at the moment. Anything you see, so the Christmas pudding you've got there, that's made using amigurumi.
That's a back in stock, by the way. It sold out first time it came out, didn't it, Sam?
It did, yeah.
But the Christmas pudding, which I'm just going to... This is the time of year to actually make a Christmas pudding, isn't it? Let's be honest. But this one has a face. This one has little eyes. Your code's on screen, 19.99. Is that right? No, sorry. It's not. I'm looking at Elfie. 14.99. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely the time to make your Christmas pudding, so it's got time to mature.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
How lovely. So cute. And that's using the same amigurumi
Same
technique.
technique. So, and actually, because it's a bigger yarn, it's a super chunky yarn. It's a good starting point if you've never done amigurumi before. So, if you want to make Elf, get the Christmas pudding kit as well, and then you can learn the
Good
skills on the
advice.
bigger scale.
Make your pud, then make
Yeah,
Elfie.
because it's a simpler project on a bigger scale, and obviously work on a bigger scale is more straightforward.
Perfect.
However, having said that, I'm going to go through all the techniques to demystify amigurumi. So I'm going to start with his head. So with Elfie, you start with the head and you work down from the top of the head all the way down to the body. And so the body and the head is made in one piece. Then you make the arms and then you make the legs and you sew them on. And then you make the items of clothing.
Got you.
So we're starting with the top of the head. So I'm starting in brown for his hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to start with a magic ring. So for a magic ring, you get your yarn, get your brown yarn. You'll put the tail on the palm of your hand. Bring the other
Just
end
a bit of
over.
magic sparkle.
He's playing with them over there. So bring the other end over to make a loop. So you've got your loop on your hand. Put your thumb on the bit where it's crossed. So the important part about this loop is that the tail is underneath the other piece of yarn. Put your hook through from the front. Grab this piece of yarn that's over your fingers with your hook, pull it through and up in the air so you've got a loop. And then you need to just grab this yarn again with your hook and pull it through that loop to make one chain. And that's what your magic ring looks like. So with your magic ring, you always have this twisted piece of yarn here with two pieces of yarn kind of tangled around each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to work all your stitches. If you're right-handed, they're going to go anti-clockwise, so underneath these two strands. And if you're left-handed, from the fact you've made your magic ring the other way round, your twisted part will be here and your stitches are all going to lay clockwise. So before I go any further, a quick note about crochet hooks, because this is a double knit yarn, I'm using a 3mm hook. So I've gone down a hook size to what you normally would use with a double knit. And that's because I want the stitches to be nice and tight. So it does make it a little bit harder. So, and if you find your tension's normally tight, it might be worth working with a 3.5 or a 4mm hook. So, and if it's your first time of doing it, I would suggest stick with the 3.5 or 4mm hook.
Is that, you want it a bit firm because it's going to be stuffed?
Yeah, exactly. So with amigurumi, they always go down a hook size to what you would normally work with that yarn for exactly that reason. Sometimes even a 2.5 or a 2mm hook.
Got you, so you get a really firm fabric.
A really firm finish to it, exactly.
Cool.
So this is my magic ring. So I'm now going to make my stitches into the ring. So all amigurumi patterns start in the same way with 6 double crochets worked into here. So for a double crochet, you just put your hook straight into the ring, grab the yarn and pull it back through, which gives you 2 loops on your hook, and then grab the yarn again and come through those 2. So that's my 1 double crochet, and I'm going to continue until I have got 6 in there. So 3, and just the same thing, 4. So a little tip, if this circle, your magic ring gets a bit too large, just pull the tail a bit to tighten it up. It gives you more control.
Because that's the point of the magic ring, isn't it? We can pull it up.
Yes, exactly. And also I always say to people, especially when they're learning to crochet, hold the work as close as you can get to the hook. It gives you more control over it. So if you're holding it down here, then it's really hard to get the hook into the magic ring. But if you hold it up really close to the stitches, it'll give you more control. So I've done 4 so far, so 5 and 6. And then when you've done your 6, that's what it should look like. So you've got your 6 little knots there, which are your stitches. You've got your V's on the top. So if you twist it slightly, you can see your V's. So the tops of the stitches look like V's. If they've twisted around, just untwist. And sometimes they might have turned in a little bit. So make sure they're facing outward. And now we're going to put a stitch marker in that final stitch. So with amigurumi, so as I said, it's working with double crochets, which you may well be familiar with. It's a standard crochet stitch. But with amigurumi, you're working in a spiral. So often with crochet, you'll slip stitch to close a circle up. But with amigurumi, you don't. So it's useful to mark the last stitch or the first stitch of the round so you know where it is. So I like to mark the last stitch. So I'm just going to put my little stitch marker underneath the V of that final stitch.
So it's right before the loop that was
It
on the
is,
hook.
exactly. So you can leave your hook in if you want. I've just taken mine out to demonstrate a bit easier. So you've got the loop that was on your hook and it's this V just behind it. And these interlocking stitch markers are brilliant. You just fasten them up.
Fab. Jules, you've already drawn me. I'm just sitting here with my mouth sort of open, staring at everything you do, because you've already drawn me into the world of amigurumi and demystified that very first process.
Yeah.
How many times have I read magic ring and
Yeah.
thought, what? What?
Yeah.
But now that's so
The
simplified.
magic ring is quite, yeah.
Claire's asked a good question. I wonder if you might answer. Are the arms joined at the neck? If so, can I make them first and crochet them in at the neck and shoulder rows?
I'm just trying to think. Yes, I'm sure you could. They are joined. So you make your head, your neck and your body.
Yeah.
And then I've just made my arms separately and sewed them on for ease.
Yep.
But I'm sure if you make them first, I've never heard that, and that's a brilliant idea. As you go round, you could slip stitch them on or sew them in, but
Yeah.
slip stitch them on would be great. So yes,
Claire,
because you're going
wonderful.
top down, you've introduced me to a new idea there, Claire. Thank
Fab,
you.
Good. Expect that to be in the next pattern.
Yes.
We've had a message from
We've
Kate.
credited.
Good afternoon, Stuart and Sam. Good afternoon, Kate. Having a break from patchwork baubles and making pom-poms ready for my wreaths and trees. Sam, love the hair.
Thank you.
We all love the hair.
That's great.
I don't even know what it looked like before, and I love
It was
the
very
hair.
long and dark brown.
Ah, did your husband do the colour as well?
I did the colour.
Did you?
So
I'm going to book
this
myself
is the
into a
hairdresser.
salon.
This particular colour and cut is the hairdresser, bless him.
Gotcha. Oh, Sam, half the stock of Elfie has
Oh,
already
really?
gone.
How amazing.
Would look rather wonderful as a pair, I feel. Either
Yeah.
end of a bookcase.
Yes.
You couldn't give one to a grandchild without giving one to the other. So multi-buy. Just going to say it. You're getting everything you need to create Elfie or Elfina.
Oh yeah, of
Could
course.
we adapt the hair?
Oh yes, definitely.
Could we add some little spiral
That would be so
curls?
great. Yeah, definitely.
A whole family
There we
of
go.
elves.
Yeah.
Look what you've started,
Yeah,
Sam.
sounds brilliant.
So what's next? We've done our first.
We've done our first
double
6.
crochets.
That's right. You've put the stitch marker in. So now you need to make the magic happen with your magic ring. So now you pull this tail here and it tightens it up so that these 6 stitches become a tiny little circle.
Yes, I
So
see.
this is where, with a different crochet technique, you might put a slip stitch in, but with amigurumi you don't. So then you're going to continue on and you're going to find your first stitch, and if you're not sure where that is, you can count back from where you've got the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And where you're working always on the same side, your stitches are actually slanted down towards you. So if I just put my hook under there, you can see you've got the 2 strands, and so it's,
So you go through both
you're going through both strands,
Right.
and you're going to make 2 double crochets in there. So yarn back through, gives me my 2 loops on my hook, yarn over through the 2, and then you put a second one in the same place. So hook back through that same stitch, pull the yarn back through, gives you 2 loops on your hook, yarn over through the 2. So that's an increase. So with amigurumi, you work in a pattern of increases to grow your work and then decreases to bring it back together. So you've got this is your double crochets, and then the way you make it 3-dimensional is with your increases, and then you do a series of double crochets that make it into a tube shape, which I'll show you shortly, and then you decrease it back together. So don't be daunted by the amigurumi technique, because it really is just double crochets. So I've done my 2 in the same stitch. So now I'm going to work around and I'm going to make 2 into every stitch around. So you find the next V, so that's the one I just worked in. So I find the next one around and make 2 in there.
Are we going to do that in all 6?
Yes, exactly.
So we'll end up with 12.
Exactly.
I do maths as well.
Very
I don't
good,
just look
very
good in
good.
snowflake sweaters. Come on.
It's actually a really mathematical pattern because you're increasing by 6 every round. So it is worth
Okay.
having a count. So this round, as you say, we'll have 12. So I've worked around doing 2 into every stitch, and I've now got to my final stitch, and I need to make 2 in there. So I know I'm on my final stitch because the stitch marker is there showing me. So take the stitch marker out, put 2 into there, and then put the stitch marker back into that final one again. So
this is the point at which you might want to do a slip stitch to close the circle, but we don't.
We don't, that's exactly right. So with the amigurumi technique, you don't slip stitch, you're working in a spiral. So you can see it's a bit like a snail shell, you start to get that spirally look. So then you're going to move on to the next round of amigurumi. And so for this one, you're doing 1 double crochet in the first stitch and 2 in the following. So I've put 1 in that one, and then I do an increase in the next stitch, so 2 in the following. So I've gone 1, 2, and now I do that again. 1 in the first, in the next, 2 in the following. So your pattern with this round is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Understood.
And that's where you get the mathematical element, because you're increasing again by 6,
Yes.
because you only increase every other stitch. But
yes.
it took me a while to work that out because I'm not very mathematically minded. But
Oh, I don't know if you can work out how to do all of this. When did you start crocheting?
so I started.
Sam?
It's about 11 years ago now. When I was pregnant with my youngest daughter. I've got 4 children, so I was pregnant with the 4th and just desperately needed something to do for myself. So I went with my sister for crochet classes, loved it, and I've just done it every day since, spent hours. And now I've made it my job, which is just brilliant.
You're living the dream.
I am.
No, it's wonderful, isn't
I
it?
love it. I
So
feel
many
very
of our
lucky.
guests have got a sort of similar story, you know,
Yeah.
how you just come to a craft and it clicks.
Yeah, exactly. And
What is it about crochet for you?
I've done very basic knitting and I've always enjoyed sewing, so I've always been crafty, but I'd wanted to try crochet for a long time, and this course came up, and I don't know, I just loved it. I love the fact when I had young children, so you can do it with the children around, whereas obviously it's harder to get the sewing machine out. So
Very much.
it's portable and it can be small little bits, and you can just pick it up and do a little bit and then put it down 10 minutes later to change a nappy or something.
One stitch on the hook instead of 246.
Exactly, yeah. So I just think it fitted in really well. It was so flexible. And then, you know, once you found something you love, that's it then. You're doing it
You know
every
when you
day.
find your thing, don't
Yeah,
you?
exactly.
Oh,
So,
well, we're loving your
yeah.
thing. Elfie is absolutely flying into baskets. Details on screen for Elfie. Adventures in Crafting, Elfie the Elf. So cute, so cute. Everything you need is in the kit. Everything you need. The bell, all the yarn, the eyes, the stuffing. Literally all you need to add in is your hook. And you'll have your favourite. And we need a 3mm hook for this project, don't we? So if you haven't got a 3mm hook, pop one in your basket. We've got them on the website. You even get that calico bag. I mean, the way that everything is presented is fantastic. Details on screen for the 3mm hook, if you need one, by the way. I must admit, Sam, I do tend to have multiples.
yes.
Of things like hooks and needles.
Me too.
Rather more than I should.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Never find
Why
what I
look
want, though.
why look for it?
Exactly.
You know, just buy a new one.
and it is worth getting a set, because then you, if you want to go up a hook size, you've just got it there. So, but yeah, 3mm for this one. Okay, so I'm just continuing round. Just check. So one of the things with amigurumi is getting into the habit of checking, and it will come with practice, where you've made 1 double crochet and where you've made 2. So have a look as you make your stitches, because that's one of the most challenging things, is seeing that. It will come with practice. So I'm going to put, had 2 in the last, so I'm continuing on with that pattern. 1, 2, and then 1, and then I'll come to my final stitch again, and I'm going to put 2 in there. And again, you need to count. So we've increased by 6, so you should have 18 at the end of this round. And then for the following round, you might start to see the pattern here, because for the following round, instead of just doing 1, 2, 1, 2, you're going to do 2 singles in a row and then your increase. So this is how I think. I then think 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So what I mean by that is you do 1 in the first, 1 in the following, and then 2 in the next. So you're increasing the third one.
Do you find yourself dancing around the kitchen
I do.
while you're doing
I used
this?
to do jazzercise.
Me too.
Did you?
Show your jazz hands.
Oh gosh.
Love
Yeah,
you. We're meant to be best friends, Sam.
Definitely. And yeah, no, I used to do it, and I used to have this. I used to chant out 1, 1, 2, and I always hear that in my head. That's
I
a while
love
back
it.
now.
I love
So,
it.
yeah, so for this round, you're doing 1, 1, 2. So 2 singles and then a double. So 1 into each of the first 2, 2 into the following.
Perfect sense. We've got a question from Rosalind, who's in Northamptonshire. Hello, I'm new to your channel and have just ordered 2 of your crochet kits. Thank you, Rosalind. Looking forward to receiving and making the kits from Roz.
How lovely. I hope you enjoy them, Roz.
That's fantastic. Don't forget, Roz, to put pictures of your makes on the Yarn Lane fans page so that our lovely community, Sam's on there too, can see what you're doing. If you have any questions that you need to ask, it's a lovely community of friends who all, know exactly what you're saying or the answers to your questions.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And then Margot has also asked, how tall is Elfie?
He's approximately 30 centimetres. It will
Is that
differ
with the
slightly.
hat?
With the hat, yes.
He's a decent size. He's a tall lad, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
As elves go, you could definitely imagine him just being constant companion.
Yeah,
Constant Christmas.
yeah.
Or sitting on a shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just keeping an eye, making sure everyone is misbehaving.
Yeah, see, well, we have an elf on the shelf that turns up on the 1st of December and stays there all month, gets up to all sorts of trouble. So that was the inspiration behind this. He moves around in the night when the children are asleep.
See, Charlie and I have been doing that for years. Years ago in the German market, we bought a little set of carved wooden choristers with the leader with a star on a stick. And I shouldn't really say this on television because I shouldn't ruin the magic, but we each take it in turns to move them around the house. And it's like, where's the choir gone? How did they get up there?
Oh, that's brilliant.
Such fun. And you, of course, can do that, play
You can,
games.
yeah,
Make
exactly.
Elfie a new Christmas tradition in
Yeah.
your house. Grandparents, if you're having the family come to stay, you'll need your own Elfie for when the family arrive to appear in more extraordinary situations and scenarios.
Yeah, there's all sorts. If you Google elf on the shelf, there's all sorts they get up to. It's really quite funny.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's brilliant.
We've got about 20 minutes left of demo.
Right,
so
okay.
don't let me hold you up.
So you continue your increases in that kind of a pattern. So for that final round there, I've got 24. Again, I've added 6, so 18 on the previous round, 24 on this one. So with amigurumi, and all amigurumi projects are the same. So again, if you choose to buy the Christmas pudding, that's exactly the same technique. You then continue building up your flat circle, and all you do is every round you increase the number of singles in between the increases. So the next round will be 3 singles and then a double, so 1, 1, 1, 2. But that's all in the pattern, all the instructions are in there. So what you do is you continue building up Elfie until you get to a point where it tells you to then make him into a tube. So you get your flat circle, you continue going up for another few rounds, and then what you do is you put 1 double crochet into every stitch around, and I'll demonstrate it on this little circle to show you in terms of technique how that works. So on this is the top of his head again, remember, but you will keep going till it gets bigger. But when you get to a point where you've finished increasing, you then put just the 1 double crochet into every stitch around, and that will start immediately to bring it up into a cup shape. And that's how you make your tubular shape. So that's how a flat shape becomes a cylinder. So in anything that's made from amigurumi, that is the technique that's used.
Is this also his hairline?
So yes, so what happens is with his hair, you do 1 round, if I remember correctly, let me just check the pattern. You do 1 round, yes, like this, just making 1 double crochet in every stitch around, but as I say, yours will be bigger. And then you're going to start, I've actually put a hairline in, so let's just come to the last one and do my last one. So you can see immediately it started to look like a little basket here. So with amigurumi, we're actually looking at the outside of it at the moment, but it wants to cup upwards. So at this point, and when it starts to cup up, you actually need to push it so it's cupping the other way. And the tip is the tail is always inside your work. So you
So
can.
does crochet have a right side and a wrong side then?
It does. It does. If you're working backwards and forwards in rows, it doesn't, because you're switching it every time, like with knitting. But when you're working in the round like this, you have a right side and a wrong side. So if I flatten it out, I don't know if you can see, this is the wrong side.
You can see that,
You
can't
can see
you?
quite an obvious difference, and this is the right side. So when you start to cup it up, you want the right side on the outside rather than inside, if you see what I mean. So just, it will naturally come up like that. So just pop your fingers in and push it that way. You don't need to change the way you're working the stitches or anything. They continue on round. And then for the hairline, so he's got a little, it's a bit like a Lego model. I've given him a little hairline.
I love it.
And so for that one, you're working into the front loop only of the stitches. So you've got where you normally go underneath 2 strands of your V, you find the strand nearest to you, and you just put your double crochet under there. So you put your hook underneath 1 strand and make your double crochet, and that is going to give it a little bit of a ridge. And also, I'll just do a few more and then I can show you. Oh, sorry, up through there. You get your back loop remaining behind on the inside. So if I just do a few to make the ridge.
I love the fact that we're actually crocheting a toupee.
It is a toupee.
If you wanted
brilliant.
to adapt the pattern,
We
I'm
could
sure
make it
Sam
adult
would not.
size. Yeah.
Could you? Just do a few more rounds for me,
why
would
not?
you, Sam? Thanks ever so.
Okay, so just to show you on here, under here we've got the back loop. So can you see that ridge there? Those are the ones we didn't work into when we just worked into the front loop. So for the next round, when it comes to asking you to change colour to do his face, which is in oyster, you're then going to go underneath that 1 single strand of the back loop and make your double crochets in there.
Oh.
And so that's how you then continue. So you're layering up your stitches.
Is sort of separate, isn't it?
Yes.
It looks like the head is coming out from underneath, which
Yeah,
basically it is.
Which is, yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
you're
Sam,
layering
you're
up.
clever. I see it now.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense
Yeah,
when you
it's a
describe
really nice
it like
technique,
that.
and it's very straightforward. It just gives it that little bit of detail that makes
Yeah.
it extra interesting.
It's a really special project. I love it. Claire's messaged in to say, I like this actually. If you know your 6 times table, amigurumi is your ideal craft.
Yes.
If the stitch count is not a multiple of 6, you've gone wrong.
Yeah, that's
Simple
really,
as.
yeah, that's straightforward, isn't
Yeah,
it? Just
yeah.
as straightforward as
So
that.
that technique, it's always in 6s and it's always...
Vast majority of the time,
Spiral.
yeah. So any amigurumi pattern you do,
Yeah.
anything that says this is made using the amigurumi technique, if it starts with 6 double crochets in the magic ring, it's going to follow that same pattern. Yeah.
Brilliant,
So it's
brilliant.
really,
Keep checking out on your elf, won't you? We are very, very limited. Such a cute project. Could we have a little look at the advent?
Yes.
calendar, please, Sam.
absolutely.
Absolutely gorgeous project. And you said your inspiration came from sewn advent calendars that your mum had made?
Yeah, my mother-in-law, yeah. So each of the children has got them, and every year she wraps up little presents to put in the pockets for them, and they just love it. It's the highlight of their December.
It's
So-
a wonderful gift to give somebody finished, isn't it? As well as
Yes.
very giftable to make.
Exactly, and just, you know, if you've got your own children, to make it year after year, it'll be so exciting for them getting it out.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, so each of these is a little pocket. And you can obviously put anything in the pockets. You can wrap gifts, you can put sweeties. Someone suggested the other day, which I thought was a brilliant idea, little messages or photographs. So if you've got a loved one who's not local,
That's nice.
then the children could draw little pictures. So there's all sorts you could do. And I think, as you said, with the colours, it could be for an adult or a child.
Yeah, it's
So
lovely.
It's,
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
lovely Christmas decoration as well as something to put bits in.
Affirmations.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. There's loads you could do.
We love
with
our
it.
daily affirmations
Yeah,
here.
yeah, exactly.
It's a beautiful project.
Yeah.
Where do you start when you're making that? Pockets, motifs,
So
background?
you start with the background. So the background is just rows of double crochet. So it's really interesting because I've had this on social media and a few people, loads of people, like it's been so popular, but a few people have said it looks complicated. It really isn't, because it's just rows of double crochet. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to just remind people of that double crochet technique.
Brilliant.
If that's okay.
Absolutely.
Because it's, here we are. I've got my
You're
4
talking to
millimetre
a
hook.
novice crocheter here who is completely in love with you, Sam, let me say. and how you, I mean, talk about demystifying, and I'm just watching. I want to see you do everything.
Oh, thank you.
Just stay until I know how to crochet,
Okay.
please.
Just buy me some lunch and I'll...
That's not a problem at all.
Okay, so with this project you use a 4 millimetre hook, which is what you'd normally use with a double knit. So we're not going down a hook size. And you start with a chain, your foundation chain. So we're not starting with a magic ring. So you start, now this is honestly a good project for a beginner because it's just working in rows of double crochet. The other day I sat my mum down, she helps me with my business and she knits, but she hasn't crocheted for years. And I sat her down and within minutes I had her doing double crochets. So it's, you know, it's really easy. If you haven't done it for years to pick it up again, or if you're new to it, it's a good starting point.
Really good starting point. Millie Mason says Sam's new haircut looks lovely.
Oh, thank you. That's so
It's all
lovely.
about the haircut today.
So it's all about the hair, isn't it?
Oh.
To make sure I style it again next time. Okay, so you start with a slip knot on your hook, which actually you make in a similar way to a magic ring because a magic ring is like a slip knot that's not finished. So tail in the palm of your hand, loop it over, put your hook through and grab this piece of yarn that's over your fingers and pull it through. But this time, pull the tail and the other end of the yarn to tighten it up. Now you want to then pull this end here, or either end will do, so that it slips up your hook and makes a tighter loop, but not a tight loop. So if you knit and you haven't crocheted before, or you knit and you're struggling with crochet, the most likely reason is your tension. Because with knitting, obviously you pull your stitches tight, and when then people come to crochet, they want to do the same thing again, which makes it incredibly difficult. So crochet is a much looser
You've watched
stitch.
me, haven't you? You've seen me trying to... That's exactly
I will
what I do.
be getting you started
Exactly
after
what
this.
I do. So a looser tension.
Looser, much looser. And I've worked with, because I teach, so I was a teacher in a former life. Oh,
Me too.
and so I've taught a lot of people to crochet, and if I always ask at the beginning of a session with a beginner, do you knit? Because if they do, it's very
You're
likely.
trouble.
Yeah, it's very likely that tension is going to be an issue.
Gotcha.
So with crochet, you need to let go of those preconceptions that you need to pull it tighter, and actually you're looking for looseness. So that loop ideally needs to move up and down your hook. You need to be able to see a little bit of space underneath your hook. And then the concept is you're wrapping the yarn over the hook and pulling it through that loop. So the position I use for that is over my little finger and over up. And then I'm just going to twist, whoops, from my thumb, from my wrist, twist so that my thumb is now where it was pointing up, it's pointing down, and push back on that yarn at the same time. And you can use either your middle finger or your first finger to do that, whichever you prefer. I use my middle finger. And then thumb and first finger or the other finger are holding this tail here. So with the crochet, your right hand or your hook hand, whether it's right or left, is just holding the hook, and the other hand handles all the yarn. And then you're going to make what's called a foundation chain. So you're going to put your hook under the yarn, half a twist, and pull it through that loop. And this is where you then need to put it slightly up in the air to make it a bit loose, and you repeat that. So for the advent calendar, I've done a long chain to get that big rectangle, but just for the purpose of demonstrating it to you, I'll do a shorter one, just to show you how you can make those neat double crochets back and forth in rows. So that's your foundation chain. So as I say, with the advent calendar, it's much longer, but it's exactly the same technique. And then for the first row of double crochets, you skip the chain that's next to the hook. So that's the one this yarn's coming out of. And you put your hook through that first loop there. So you're skipping that chain. In the second chain from the hook, push your hook underneath that top loop, grab onto the yarn and put it back through just that loop. Gives you 2 loops on your hook. Grab onto the yarn again and put it through those 2. And that's your double crochet. So actually the same stitches that we use with Elfie.
For Elfie,
Yeah, but just worked in rows instead of in a circle. Find the next chain along, do the same again. So through underneath that loop, pull the yarn back through, gives you 2 loops on your hook, yarn over through the 2. And you just do that into every loop all the way along. So I'll just go to the end. So take your time. And again, you know, if you're knitting and you're pulling this tight and you can't get your hook through, it's because you're pulling it too tight. So I always say, give your hook hand a jiggle. So give your hook hand a little jiggle upwards, and it loosens up the loops there, and grab the yarn and come through. So make those loops a bit looser than you might think if you're struggling. And I just go all the way along to the end, making 1 double crochet into every loop. And that takes me to the last one, which is next to the slip knot.
Yep.
And then we're going to turn it round and make another row.
Yep.
So to do that, you do a chain 1. So you just grab that yarn and pull it through the loop on your hook, and that's called your turning chain. And then at the moment you're looking at the stitches you've just made. So now we turn it over. So we're looking at the back of the work. And so from the back, you've got these little holes here, which are the stitches. And if you just twist it like that, almost all the way over, you can see the V's at the top.
Yep.
And the V's at the top are the stitches. So you've got your chain 1 here, you do nothing with that, leave that there, that's just to help us turn it. Put your hook into this hole here and make sure, as you do, it goes under 2 strands, because now we're working underneath stitches.
Yes.
Grab the yarn and put it back through those 2, gives you 2 loops on your hook, and grab the yarn and come through both. So exactly the same stitch, but into a slightly different place, because you're now working under stitches. So you need to go under 2 strands of yarn every time.
Do you know, and in these 2 minutes, you've explained now why I struggle. The bit I struggle with most is seeing where are the stitches.
Yes.
Because I'm a knitter and I'm used to having them on a needle where I can see them and
ready
count
to work,
them.
yeah.
But it's because I'm working too tight, my tension's too tight, and I cannot see a hole.
Yeah.
But your tension, you can see a very
Yes.
obvious hole. So for an absolute beginner,
Yeah.
I think this advent calendar would be the most perfect project. And I was actually thinking, when I said to you, what do you start with, the pockets or the background? I thought, well, the pockets, because then you're working on something small. But actually, you cut your teeth on the background, don't you?
I would, yeah.
You're learning there how to just work back and forth in rows.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to make it, if you want to just sort of get used to the technique and do a smaller swatch like I am now, but yeah, the background is a good starting point.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
That's really cool. There's the details on screen for Sam Sabido's brand new kit. You're getting everything, including the stars, including the pole, and all the yarns, full instructions. This could be an absolute beginner project. It could be your first kind of proper project. Maybe you've had a go at making things like granny squares, or you've done a little double crochet blanket. This is something you're going to bring out every single year. This is a real heirloom, isn't it? Very giftable, wonderful to keep and bring out every year, and just mix up the gifts that go inside. It's absolutely beautiful. I've been so impressed with your kits, Sam.
Oh,
They're
thank
lovely. You're loving them at home as well. We have got some back in stocks. We've got some back in stocks. Let's just have a quick look. We're going to start off with the wreath. We're very, very limited on the wreath. Now, this is one of my favourite projects that you brought, because I love home deck projects. Especially seasonal ones, and this has got Christmas roses, it's got holly and berries, and that adorable little robin and some snowflakes in there as well, on a grapevine wreath, which is included.
Yes, yeah.
Amazing. Everything you need again in there. It's all included. I'm going to try and look like I know what I'm talking about now. That robin, is that made using the amigurumi technique?
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. All
Do
the
you know, I
same
feel 10
technique.
feet tall right now, Sam. $34.99. When we say limited, Sam, we mean we've got 2.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, that would be 1 for me and 1 for me mum. Check out, won't you? If you've got the other seasons, Sam does other seasons, and you haven't got Christmas, this is your chance. Also back in stock, Christmas tree bunting. That's hanging behind Sam at the moment. That's the kind of thing that once you've made a run of it, you could make longer. It's previously sold out. Was that your first ever show, Sam?
It was, yeah, last
That must have been
November. It was
lovely.
brilliant.
Welcome
yeah.
to the family.
Yeah.
It was in November of last year, wasn't it?
That's right.
Adorable. Is that glittery silver yarn?
It is, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Easy beginner project?
Yes, straightforward.
Very
yeah,
straightforward.
Yeah, rows of half trebles.
Start at the top and increase?
That's right, yeah. Look at you.
Oh, do you know? So that's the Christmas tree bunting, $11.99. I think if you wanted to give one of Sam's projects a go, that's a great entry-level project, isn't it? Really nice, that. Really nice, $11.99. And then we did speak earlier on about the jumpers. We'll start with the silver, which is right here behind me. This is very lovely actually, because all of the white yarn has got a silver sparkle thread through it. Absolutely beautiful. Let me find it out of the bag now then. Christmas pudding, they're over to the right. Snowstorm, that's the blue. Icicle.
No, actually it is the one you just had.
Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah,
Snowstorm.
for the sparkly yarn. Yeah, confusing.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, and that's lovely. Glitz. That's me all over. Look at that. Can you see the sparkle? That is really lovely. Now, that completely sold out the first time we had it on air, which was the 26th of July. If you'd like to watch the demo, we have managed to put a few more kits together, haven't we? When I say we, I mean you, obviously. I didn't help put the kits together. But that silver grey and the sparkly white is beautiful, isn't it? That's really classy. My mum would look $1 million in that.
Lovely.
Really nice. Now, if you have been inspired by the navy that I'm wearing, this one is called Frost. This is Frost. We've got 4 of these left, that's all.
Wow.
And we've got 4 minutes left on show as well, which is a nice segue for me to throw to Sam, who is wearing the red version with cream snowflakes, which is really gorgeous. And amazingly, they start at size 6 and go up to a 24. So that's a extra small to 5XL. All included in the kit. So we can make any size?
Yes,
yeah. One kit.
Yeah, it's
That's
one kit.
incredible.
It gets all the yarn for any of those sizes. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. $34.99. And remember, you've got options for different necklines and different cuffs. So if you want to mix that up and make it uniquely yours, you absolutely can, regardless of the colourway that you go for. All the instructions are included in your kit. You're even getting a calico bag. Those instructions are not available on their own, so if you want to knit that sweater, the kit is an amazing price as well, actually. $34.99 for something really special, really classy, that's going to come out every year. This isn't one of those joke Christmas sweaters. This is a winter sweater, an alpine style, that you're going to wear all throughout the winter. It isn't just for Christmas. Out carol singing.
Oh yes.
Bit of gardening in the winter. I love a bit of gardening in the
winter.
winter.
Me too. Yeah.
Woodland walks. Beautiful. Now, also back in stock, one of my favourite projects of the day is the Christmas pudding. When I saw the eyes, that was it.
I know,
It was
the eyes
sold.
make it, don't they?
They really do. They really do. Again, using the amigurumi technique. And as Sam said, if you've never done the amigurumi technique before, or maybe you've never even crocheted before, Sam says this would be a great project to start. This would be a good first project. Really cute. I've got 2 minutes left. Elfie. We've got less than 10.
Oh, you need to undress him.
I need to undress. Now, that's not me talking then. That wasn't like my consciousness speaking out loud. This was me. Are we past the watershed now? I can't resist, you know. He's got look at the little dungarees. So cute. Come on, Alfie. Pop your arms up. There we go. This just it kind of feels wrong. Oh, come on, look. He doesn't go any barer than this, though, does he?
No, that's got long johns on. Yeah.
And what's that inside? There's something...
Well, I've put a little bag of rice in mine, which I thought you could do if you wanted to sit him on the shelf.
That's a really smart idea.
Yeah, you've got little eyes coming, a little organza bag that you could stuff with some rice and pop in when you're stuffing him.
Super idea,
so, yeah.
Super idea. I'm going to redress him because I don't really feel I can hand him back to you just wearing underwear. Although it's pretty attractive underwear too. What a fantastic show we've had. We've just got a minute left. Sam, it's been an absolute delight and a joy to meet you.
Pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for bringing all these new wonderful kits.
Oh, I'm glad everyone likes
Merry
them.
Christmas to you.
Yes.
Do you know when you're back?
I'm back on the 2nd of November.
Brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
brilliant. 2nd of November. Yarn Lane will be back on Friday, so I hope you'll join us. Catherine Wright's here with John Scott. And they are doing Topsy-Turvy Knitted Dolls, a tune-in I will be watching. Thank you for joining us today on Yarn Lane. We will see you next time. I'm back next week. Well, actually, I'm back on Saturday on Sewing Street as a guest with some bag patterns. And then next week I'll be presenting again on Wednesday and Thursday. So I hope you'll join me. Stay safe. Enjoy your crafting. Enjoy your knitting and crochet. Mwah, take care. Goodbye.